to Be on the Breakdown. I'm Tori Kravitz, and today we are following Locus Ultra for a day in the life on tour with Norma Jean. Now, if you're wondering how this band you've never heard of got an opening slot for a band like that, well, think twice, because it's actually Underoath in disguise, wearing masks, playing their new album in full. So we're gonna find out why they put this all together and how they're doing it. So come along with me here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This tour is so unique, being it's Underoath, but it's Locus Ultra. So the setup and even what you do as your role on this tour is different than usual. So you want to tell me a little more about what that entails?
Sure. So for Underoath at Locus Ultra, I am stage manager, drum tech, key tech, backline extraordinaire. So typically on a tour, I'm morning till night, really dictating what load-ins, load-outs, sound checks, making sure everybody's on time so that we play on time, my guys get out, I'm on to the next city. But with this, it's a little different. We're playing secretly. I can't come in and just announce that I'm the big band. I need what I need, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm working around these other people. Typically we play maybe over some of these bands. And so coming in, we're just kind of seeing where we fit and acting almost like a first of three or second of three, and that's really unique. I get to dance around and kind of go back in time a little bit. Everything that we would put into an Underoath show, audio quality, it's our equipment. We're bringing pretty much our full rig and making it into kind of a local band fly out space. We're fitting in here quite tightly, and but it's more fun that way, I think, at least for a couple shows. If it was an entire tour, I wouldn't enjoy it so much.
I was gonna say, being like this is a 600 cap room, mm-hmm. and having to scale back, has that been really challenging for you in your job?
Yeah, so I mean, tonight we're not using any overhead mics for the cymbals. The cymbals are just gonna be that loud in the room. That presents a challenge to my front of house, and it's kind of a unique, fun thing. Exactly. If I was forced, if this was my level, probably be a little bummed, but like I said, going back in time is a little fun. It's reminiscent of a simpler time. We get to drive around in not a tour bus, right? We get to hang out, stop when we want to stop, sleeping in hotels. And
even with like a scaled back show, scaled back crew, have you had to take on more roles in what you would normally do?
So this is actually the crew we run with normally. We have a front of house, I've got a playback / guitar tech, and there's me.
Amazing.
We will hire an LD for a big tour. And hire a merch guy. We have our content guy, Jacob, with us this time, but that can change as well. But our core crew is just 3 guys. We're running no tour manager this time, so that's the only thing that's actually minus from this. But he's on the computer at home, kind of still facilitating our master tour and logistics, right?
And the last thing that I find quite interesting with Locus Ultra is the fact that they're technically incognito. I know some people have said they've seen sightings of Underoath members on the cruise, but Underoath's not on the cruise and things like that.
Right.
So has that been a consideration in your job as sort of, helping run the ship of like keeping them secret, or are you just
absolutely?
How is that working?
So, for example, loading the gear into the cruise, we had a private entrance. We had a early entrance. We were on the boat away from everyone early, but even as the boat moves through, or the gear moves through the boat, I had it covered. Every case that says Underoath is covered. Things that would be dead giveaways, I just don't. And I would travel around with the artist pass tucked. If anyone asked, like, hey, are you that guy? Nope. And sometimes you have to play that kind of end, or I'll just tell someone if they're real pushy, I'm under NDA. I cannot tell you. I'm not going to give you a yes or no. I'm not going to hint. But staying away from like the majority of fans. If I was out there mingling and they're like, what do you do? And I was blabbing, not a good look. So we stayed to ourselves. We stayed with the band, kind of stayed secret, and if anyone had a question, I would just deny it completely, gaslight them. That's not my favorite thing, but it's to keep my job.
So were people pretty serious about trying to figure it out?
No, I had maybe 1 or 2 people that really were like, is Underoath here? Is Locus Ultra's Underoath, right? I'd be like, I don't even know what Locus Ultra is. And so it's that level, like just trying to completely deny it.
Acting skills, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, thanks.
Locus Ultra. I feel like normally this would be a really cliche place to start for an interview. However, the name Locus Ultra.
Yeah.
Significance, the lore, how does it tie to the album?
It directly ties to the album. It's the album is called The Place After This One, and Locus Ultra. Locus Ultra is that in Latin.
Oh.
So when we started talking about the setting up the album and all that stuff, they had designed a bunch of ad mats for us to look at on a Zoom call, and in really tiny letters we saw that phrase. They had kind of put that in with the design, and that kind of sparked the whole thing.
We shot a bunch of photos in these alternate looks.
Yeah.
And I don't really know when we decided we were going to play like that. It just came out of nowhere. It kind of came out of left field where like we're going to do the boat, and then the idea of playing some shows was just like a marketing idea, I think, between Joel, who does most all our visuals and all of our merch designs and the website, and he's kind of behind the scenes on all the music videos and stuff, and Tim. I remember Tim bringing it up on a phone call, and I was like, that's the most exciting thing I've heard in like 10 years of promoting records. It's like I remember when Foo Fighters did it, they didn't dress up, and I remember Weezer doing this as well, where bands go under a different name to play new material and test it out, or just to play some smaller club shows. And I just have always thought that's really cool, and it's like it reminds me of like when you used to buy tickets at the door kind of thing, like, oh, so-and-so is playing, like when the days of the Flyer and stuff like that. And I don't know how well it'll work in the internet age without being so like, hey, we're playing, everyone, and everyone's got to buy tickets early, and everything's going to be, there's never a last minute door sellout kind of show. So I'm interested to see how it went, but it went way better than I thought it would on the boat. Like, I couldn't believe how well it went.
For this one, although I was kind of the one who brought it up and kind of spearheaded it, it's a full team effort from like Joel, our creative director, and Nate Utesh and Randy, our manager, and everyone buying in to this idea. But yeah, the start of it was like thinking through, like when you're a band for 20 years and you write a new project, you know for a fact those songs will never get played, just because it's natural, and that's for anyone. It could be Slipknot or Linkin Park or Foo Fighters, all the way down to Bad Omens and A Day to Remember and Us. It's like when you have an hour at a festival, you almost have to play a certain amount of songs. So every time you put out a new record, 2 or 3 make it, maybe 1 or 2 exchange ideas, you rotate a few, and by and large, your set's kind of built based on what people expect or just what you want to play to make sure that everyone has a great time. So I was just sitting around one day, and I hit up Joel, our creative director. I was like, dude, what if we reached out to the Emo's Not Dead crews and did a fake band to where it's not billed as Underoath, so nobody expects us to be anything, and we just debut the new album and just leak it. And when you just say it like that, that's what I started. And I brought it up in like band meetings, and I brought it up on band calls, I brought it up to our manager, and for like the first, I'm not joking, 4 to 6 weeks, nobody got it. They were just like, why would we do that? And then I called Gavin, the owner of Emo's Not Dead, along with Matt, because we're close friends, and I was like, I have this idea, because it felt like nobody on our team got it or wanted to try to make it happen. So I was like, I'll just do all the front-loaded work myself, just to see if it's even possible, because there's no sense in fighting for an idea that can't even happen. So then Gavin was like, dude, I love it. And then I brought it up to the band in a band meeting, and I was like, I've already talked to Gavin, he wants to have us on the cruise. Obviously, they've already booked the tour and the cruise, so there's not any money, but what if we just look at this as like a fun hobby, and then when it comes to managers and when it comes to like labels and like, what are you doing? You almost have to respin it as like, it's not an expense, it's a marketing investment.
Since the early days, we've always loved like the weird, when we put Define the Right line out, we put out like the instrumental 6-minute kind of talk track first. We've always been into that sort of like dripping things out in that way, So it felt like a cool thing to like, what if we just become a different band?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like, especially for a band that's the age of our band, the shelf life of our band, we're not really going to get to make like a tour where we only play a new album. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We're going to have to play Random X and Writing on the Walls and Boy Brush Red. Those things happen. And those things, that's got us where we are. But, you know, the bulk, we've been a band for so long, and the bulk of, when we go out on tour, the bulk of what we need to play is songs people love, which I want to do anyways. So this is such a cool way to go out and actually showcase the record and actually play it front to back.
Well, there's something interesting about being a band of your legacy, and it's really subverting expectations, because you could so easily just play your hits, do your thing, stay in your lane, but like to kind of put all of this effort into kind of marketing in such a unique way and keeping it fresh is, I don't know, it's kind of unexpected. Why was that important to you?
Well, because new music is important to us. Otherwise, we just go out and play a bunch of old shit. You know, like, I like to celebrate songs that we've been, you know, that are a part of our lives and a part of a lot of people's lives. But if fans want their bands to stick around, and you have to expect evolution, you have to expect, you know, we're putting in more work now than we did when we were like 19 years old, you know, like with Chasing Safety and all that. Like, we're working overtime. Like, we spent off days on the last tour where we're celebrating our big 20 year. We were shooting videos on our off days. We're like putting together all this content. We're like, go, 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 go. We care. So making a world where, you know, I think if we were just like, hey, it's Underoath, we're playing a brand new record front to back, people would be fucking pissed off. And I don't know why that's the answer, but that's my answer. Like, if we were to tell you straight up, hey, we want to go play a new record front to back, people would be pissed. They want to hear old songs, and they maybe not show up, or if they do show up, they're going to heckle you or be mad, talk shit online, whatever the fuck they're going to do. So I felt like for us, it was just a way to like create a different world. You know, like, we're not Underoath, we're just this other band. So don't expect to hear Writing on the Walls and Dangerous Business tonight, because we're not Underoath. This could be a side project. And I thought that was a really cool way of getting a chance to play the songs we worked so hard on and we truly believe that is our best material that we've ever worked on.
There's a lot of masked bands, and I can't imagine doing that crap all the time.
No.
I can't imagine it.
How did the design for the masks even come about?
Chris, our keyboard player, he's really into like the horror world. He always has been. He has like a horror tattoos, and he has a bunch of, he collects latex masks, like custom masks.
Okay.
And he has a friend in Atlanta who actually custom makes them for film. So he made all these.
Nice.
Yeah. Spencer's not wearing one. He wears like a ski mask. I don't think he could get comfortable in a latex. It's weird. Like, mine covers my upper lip, and it's weird. But once you get, I mean, and you have to hide your hair, so that's been the weird part too.
Especially yours being as lush as it is. That's
Yeah, it's like a braid and bobby pins, and you know.
very elaborate. Glad it's only for shows then.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Well, the biggest part of the Locus Ultra shows are the masks, and you've brought probably one of the most interesting masks of the whole ordeal. Would you like to share?
Thanks. Yeah, so this is mine. It's from an artist in Atlanta named Addison Morer, and I've collected his stuff for years. I have a whole collection at home, and I would say probably almost half of that collection is his stuff. I actually called him up and I was like, hey, can you make like 4 more of, not these obviously, but you know, something a little more uniform, and he did. He like all the other ones he knocked out in like a week and a half with like no notes. So
how did you decide on like aesthetically what you wanted the mask to look like on stage? Because this is unique.
Yeah, so for this one, this was just part of my collection I had at home, and I was like, man, it would be cool to wear this one. And then when we were trying to figure out the other ones, really are the only note that I gave him was that we wanted them to kind of be blank. Like, we didn't want them to really have a ton of like individual personality. We just kind of wanted them to be
like anonymous.
Yeah, nothing that you would look and be like, oh my gosh, that one. You know, more of just like a blank canvas. So that was really the only note that we gave him. We gave him a couple small notes on color, and that was it. And he just, he killed it.
And I know Aaron's been very vocal about how difficult it's been performing with the masks on.
Aaron? Our Aaron? being vocal about it being difficult? What?
Crazy, I know.
That's crazy. Yeah. No, it is though. Yeah. It's.
How has that been for you?
Yeah. Well, what's funny is this mask actually only had initially one eye. This one was like whited out. It was like a cataract eye. And my initial plan was to just play the whole set with one eye because I really liked the way it looked. But then like literally 20 minutes before the first set, I cut the eye out because I couldn't do it. But it's a whole other thing for sure. Like I think for the first set, almost the entire way through, I felt like I was just trying to figure out how to do that because I've never really done it before. But after we got through the first set, it was like, oh, okay, like this is cool. So
yeah. And the masks are also beautifully portrayed on the merchandise, which is
yeah. We what's funny is we did we did a photo shoot with this photographer for the new record, and we weren't initially planning on having it on any merch or anything. We were just like, oh, let's take some pictures with these masks on. And then it morphed into what became Locus Ultra. So I think it's cool. I mean, I'm biased, but I like it. So it's like Grant was saying earlier that it's the only merch that we've ever had that he's like, oh, I want to get one of those. So I'm going to snag some.
Yeah, and it's really special for fans too because it's like you can only get this merchandise at these shows and never again, right?
I mean, I've been doing this long enough to never say never because I always say never with a lot of stuff and the stuff ends up happening. But we don't have any plans to do anything past this. So
it's pretty special and also very aesthetically different from Underoath merchandise. It's looking a little black metal here.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I'm biased, but I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
Who did the designs? Did you all come up with these?
No, it's a creative agency we work with called Tension Division. And we've worked with, it's our friends Joel and Nate. We've worked with them on the past, this will be our third record that we've done with them. And we work really well with them. Like they'll give us a lot of aesthetic ideas and bounce stuff back and forth. And, none of us are like, graphic designers per se, so you wouldn't want to buy the stuff that we could design ourselves. So
touche.
Yeah, we
I beg to differ.
Yeah, we lean on people who are really good at their job.
And we just really wanted it to be an organic thing and not, a stunt or a promo to the point where it's like, oh, there's an agency behind this. Like, we didn't hire a publicist for it. It's literally just us doing art for art's sake and touring with our friends, Limbs and Norma Jean, and they were like, dude, this is so cool. And it seems like everyone on the boat thought it was cool. And I just loved seeing an idea start 4 months ago as like, that's crazy, that'll never work. And then you get done on the first night in the boat, and the only thing that was wrong with the set was like the humans that missed a few notes because we've never played these songs, and it was beautiful. Yeah. Like I literally broke down after the first show. Wow. Just like exhausted, happy. I was just like crying, but like not because it was so perfect or so bad. It was so much work, like so much work. I was sitting in a bathtub in Tokyo 30 hours before we boarded the cruise, looking at video stuff, and I was like, I think I'm gonna try to build video content for the entire album on this flight. Just stayed up for 28 hours. Everything you see wasn't a thing 4 days ago. And then I brought in Jacob, our video guy, and he helped me build the intro and finish off a few songs that I couldn't get to, and like, we built all of that. It was like a 40-hour like crunch, and to have all that going and then play the first show and everything work, and people love it, and people talk about the new songs, was just, to me as an artist only, like one of the more emotional moments I've had in the last like 5 or 10 years.
And I know there was a statement on the stage, I believe. I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see it for myself, but there was a line in there that seemed really poignant to me that also seemed to kind of explain and hint a little bit about this too, is life is more than numbers, status, identity, and profit. If anything, they are the very things that dilute our true purpose. And really, I'm thinking about status and identity and how that ties into the anonymity as well. So would you like to touch a little more on that statement?
Yeah, I think that, I hate for this piece to come off like I'm an old guy that hates the new ways. I live in Nashville, and I'm a producer and a songwriter. It's my day job, and I work with 5 different artists every week. And I think it's great to see an artist that's can put a song on TikTok and now they have a record deal and they can just release music. You know, you can go to your bedroom tonight and make a song and put it online tonight.
Yeah.
That's very, 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 very cool. Mm-hmm. But there is the argument, has that changed the way that we consume music? You know, because like an album like this one, it takes years to make. It does. Of writing and thinking and rewriting and rethinking and then recording and it takes years. We still do things that way. There's real drums, it takes time. You know what I mean? And it used to be like that would come out and it would be a thing that for a couple years you could live off of. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean financially, but I mean like creatively and emotionally, and you could connect with your, and now, like when our last album came out, a week after it came out, I'll never forget it, I was at a meet and greet at a venue, and the kid's like, your last album was great. I'm like, it came out 100 hours ago. It was good. Yeah. It's over for them. It's over.
They heard it once and heard it to the next.
Because there's 100,000 songs a day get uploaded to Spotify. Right. You can't. And then we use those numbers, those Spotify numbers specifically, and those are the most valuable numbers now for an artist. You look at that little thing on the bottom left, monthly listeners, and you get booked on tours based on that number, and that it's not real. Mm-hmm. This is just allows us to say that, because as Underoath, I don't really feel comfortable coming out and saying some of the shit I just said, but under the guise of this, I'm comfortable saying it.
I don't know, for some reason, even though I think a lot of people do know it's us, I think it changes the whole perspective. Yeah. Like a fan's going into it excited to hear something new. You know, like what I have seen online has been positive. People are excited to check out the new stuff, excited to hear it again, as opposed to going into it like, why the fuck is Underoath just playing new shit? You know, like, so I think it's just putting on a simple mask and just taking our name away from it just allows us to just share something. We're just trying to share what we worked so hard on that we want you to hear with an open mind, maybe not under a microscope of you're comparing it to something we did 20 years ago or 15 years ago, but that's fine, but like this is what we're showing you right now. That's not going anywhere. Stop being so mad about that. I don't know why we're mad about that. It's still there. It's just part of the bigger picture. Yeah. And I think when bands are allowed to grow and be themselves, it keeps us happy, makes us want to do this longer.
Who are you here to see tonight, first of all?
Norma Jean.
Norma Jean?
Yep.
And you? Come on.
Norma Jean.
Yeah? How long have you all been fans?
A while now. This would be my 5th time seeing Norma Jean.
Ride or die. Yeah. Well, tonight's interesting. We have a Locus Ultra opening. Do you know about them or what's going on?
I've done some background research. Very excited.
What has been your source for this background research?
Reddit, possibly the cruise that both bands were on this past weekend. So,
right on.
Cool.
What'd you see?
Bunch of guys in masks for Locus Ultra, so it's a mystery, but sounded pretty heavy. So
sweet.
I've played a show a long time ago with Underoath in West Palm Beach at Soundsplash Records. So from what I hear, that's a tie.
I was gonna say, who said it was Underoath? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know who they are, because I'm not Underoath right now. I don't put my hand on Bibles.
Do you know any Locus Ultra songs?
I don't.
Tonight you will.
I know.
Just debriefed then. The reason you're here is for Locus Ultra.
Yeah.
So tell me why. What's the motive? What's the excitement?
The real answer?
Yeah. Well, actually, you want to tell me the fake answer and then the real answer.
Well, because they looked awesome, and just what I saw on Instagram, it looks like my type of aesthetic, I guess.
Who doesn't love a Slipknot cover band that plays Underoath songs? It's awesome. But no, in reality, I went on a Reddit deep dive and I found as much information as I could. And I know it's you guys, it's Underoath, and that's why I'm here.
Who said Reddit was accurate, though?
We saw it on Instagram, Reddit. We literally just saw Underoath up in St. Petersburg. So, we just saw them playing. We're like, yeah, that's them. From all the mannerisms and stuff. And we've been a huge fan of Underoath for, 20 years, maybe? Yeah. A long time.
100%.
Well, assuming, because I can't confirm or deny whether or not this is actually Underoath, because I have no idea. How do you feel about the Locus Ultra Underoath potential rumor?
Oh, we're stoked. We're stoked to hear like the new album and everything like all together and like get to hear it first. And like we live down here, so it's awesome we didn't have to travel or anything. So, and that's why we got here so early, because we want to make sure we have a good view and everything and take it all in.
I think the day that it's just like, I just want to be in my hotel, when am I getting paid, does it make sense? When that is what your band's reduced down to only, like you're not really in a band anymore, you're in a company.
Yes.
And my job's to like try to be an artist as long as I can, and I haven't failed yet, and I don't think I plan on it, for me personally, you know?
Yeah, well, they call it the music business, but it doesn't mean you have to treat it as such all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to make money, you have to like make good decisions, but if it's all about making more money and climbing the next chart and being better at radio than you were last time and selling more records and bumping up club rooms, it just gets gross after a while. And everyone can see you trying, and it just becomes like a gimmick.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, we may never play anything bigger than 2,000 to 3,000 cap rooms, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to sell out an arena to feel like I accomplished anything.
And you've already accomplished so much, so like,
yeah, and I love it. And then I have friends that are selling out 10, 15, 20,000 seat venues. I'm like, man, you guys freaking deserve every bit of it. Like, that's not a slight by any stretch. And knowing how press works, that'll get cut out, and then the first thing will get cut, and then I'll be accosted by our team, because that happens all the time. But case in point, like I've been told you need press training. Whatever you say to press, they're going to use against you. I'm like, then I'm just not doing press, because I'm not doing this like Joe Biden bullshit where I have like canned responses and I don't know what I'm thinking about. Like, if you want to talk, let's talk. If you want to make me look like a jerk, you can. And I know you won't, and I hope you won't. And if you do, that's okay too, because I'm like, I did say that. And then I'll tell you what I said next. But yeah, that's happened to me so much, and it's like, it feels unhinged sometimes, it feels dangerous, but I also think like art and music should be unhinged and dangerous. And then also like have a team of lawyers and agents and people that are looking out for your business side, because without that you can't do this. So it's not a slight, it's just we balance our cocktail a little bit different than I think some other bands do, and that's just the way we want it. And some other people just want to do what they want to do, and that's great too.
Yeah.
As long as you're having fun and you're happy and you believe in what you're doing, that's all that matters. You know?
How does this tie necessarily to this new album? Like, what was it specifically about this album where it felt like the right time to create this?
I think that like we really made an album that we just, I mean, we've always done it, but like we just did exactly what we wanted to do this time. We didn't like try to do anything other than exactly what we wanted. And the whole record has this kind of underarching tone of like, we live in this modern time where everything is public and everything is like accessible, everything. Like 10 years ago, I read this book called The Circle, and it was like, it was just a fiction, you know, like an airport buy, like just a fiction book to kill time. And it's a great book, but it kind of reads like the Apple I circle in Cupertino. Like it reads like there's this fictitious company, and they make software and cameras and all this stuff, and they create this social network, and everyone has to be accountable, and they start making police accountable. This is in the book. And then I watched it happen in real life. Literally. You know what I mean? So the record has this tone of sort of like, what's next? We've done everything you can do to be public. It's just as people off the street. Everyone has the access to everyone else. Everyone knows what you're doing at all times. What's next? What's after that? What happens when you die? What happens when your social media, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, make it what you will, but I think that that's such a cool way to be private. Do you know what I mean? Like I loved going to record stores when I was a kid, because that's what they look like now. You know, our bands would come through town and you'd be like, whoa, they look like that? Yeah. And now there's no mystery. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no mystery to anything. So this is such a cool opportunity to inject mystery into something. With it, we just don't live in a time anymore where that's possible.
Yeah.
And people don't want it anymore either. Do you know what I mean? Like, people don't want any mystery.
Or even the anonymity of going to a record store and just buying a CD based on the cover, not knowing what it is.
And sometimes you'd fuck up. Sometimes you'd buy something because you like the cover and you'd listen to it and you would trick yourself into liking it.
Right.
Like some of my favorite music, I hated when I first heard. It wasn't instantly gratifying to me.
For sure.
And I've had to find a way to like it.
You had to be obligated. You're like, that was my $12.
Literally.
That's my CD now.
Isn't that crazy?
Isn't it? Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's gone. And not to sound like the old, the disgruntled old guy. That's not what I'm trying to do here. But what I am saying is, it's interesting to be able to have the opportunity to be hidden for a little bit.
Well, I suppose let's make a case. And why do you think this album is really worth everybody's attention, and why they should really try and dig into it?
I haven't felt this way in a long time about our new music, and I'm proud of all of our music. I'm proud of every album we've made. But I've said this in a few other interviews: when we push play on Define the Great Line, when we finished it, so when you leave the studio, you rough mix it before you leave, and then it's got to go off to a mixer, and then it goes to master. But normally, whoever you record the record with, your producer or your engineer, he'll get it into a mixed spot to where you could listen to it, take it home, think about it, think about the order of the record and all that shit. When we push play on Define the Great Line, sitting in that control room, I'll never forget that feeling. And I haven't felt that feeling again until we did that on this record before leaving. And not because it sounds similar to it, it's a completely different sound, but there's a feeling in there. And that's what I hunt for with music. It's something that makes me feel that I can't describe it. It's not even necessarily a lyric. It could be like the way it all feels like something. And I think that we captured a feeling on this record that hasn't been captured in a long time, at least for Underoath. Yeah. So I'm excited for the world to hear it. I hope they listen to it more than just in passing, because it's an important record to us. And for me, it's like it's pretty beautiful thought for me to be like, we wrapped our 20-year of being a band tour as we started to promote this, which to me, this feels like literally the next chapter in the Underoath book. It wasn't Erase Me when we got back together. That was just a breakup that happened, and we kept making music. It wasn't Voyeurist, our first self-produced record. To me, it's like, as we ended that 20-year tour of celebrating, this is the future. This is the next 20 years. So it's exciting to me, and I hope people can listen to it with an open mind and really listen to it.
Well, I think you set us up for success on that. Looking
hope
forward
so.
to it.
Cool.
Thank you.